Everyone. Today I'm going to talk about the Lady of the Lamp. My name is Alessandra, and I would like to start asking you what inspired you? Or even better, how can we be inspired to make a difference in the world? You see, I'm a nurse, and every time I'm treating a patient, I see a new opportunity to change this patient's life or his world. It could be the way he eats, what he does during his daily activities. And Heidi Wills, he said something really interesting. She said, we can choose to be affected by the world, or we can choose to affect the world. So the Lady of the Lamp, or Florence Nightingale, she chose to change the world. I will talk about a little bit about her early life, the nurse, and how the difference that she made in the world. So Florence Nightingale, she was born in May 12, 1820 in Florence, Italy, and she was named after the city that she was born. And her father was William Nightingale, and her mother was Fanny, and she had an older sister called Parthenope. She came from a wealthy family, and they wanted her to get married and have kids and ascend in social life, but that was not in her plans. She believed that when she was 16 years old, God talked to her and told her that she should obey him through service to society. But her family never was okay with that. So she had a childhood friend called Richard Monckton Milnes, and they started going out. And because of him, she started visiting old, sick, and poor people. And it was then that she knew that she wanted to be a nurse. But nurses, they were stereotyped. They came from low classes and even compared to prostitutes. But she was determined to change that. So her great aunt, Elizabeth Evans, she got sick and she passed away. And Fanny, which was Florence's mother, she was trying to attempt to change Florence's idea of becoming a nurse, but that never stopped her. Florence went to Germany to learn more about nursing and taking care of wounds and nursing techniques. And in 1853, she became the superintendent of the Institution for Sick Gentlewomen in Distressed Circumstances. Because of that, she met the Minister of the War. At the time, it was happening the Crimean War. And he wrote a letter to Florence and asked her to send some nurses to Constantinople because they didn't have enough staff to take care of the British soldiers. And Florence, she managed to gather 38 nurses, and she didn't care about their religious background. And she ended up in the Barak Hospital in Scutari. That was the condition of the hospital at the time. You see, there are soldiers on the floor. It was a dirty environment. There was rats and fleas everywhere, and she wanted to change that. So she asked the nurses to help her. She cleaned the whole hospital, and that's what it became. She opened the windows. She believed that fresh air, good food, and taking care of them more close of the British soldiers would help them to recover. She was even reduced the mortality to 2/3 at the time. So the doctors started trusting her because women were not supposed to be in the war. They were supposed to be at home taking care of their families. So she was called the Lady of the Lamp because the soldiers, they started coming back to their houses, and they started talking about this nurse that she used to walk through their beds, checking on the patients at night with the lamp and checking if they were okay. So she made a difference in the world. she knew that after the war, within 5 years, she knew that everything should change. She was able to change the structure, the administrative structure of the War Office at the time. She founded the Nightingale School, and she was recognized as the leading expert on military and civilian sanitation in India. The government in India asked her to analyze what they were doing with their soldiers so she could help them with that. She could even change many things in the Army Medical School, like helping the doctors to treat better the patients. She found out that noisy environments could prejudice them with their condition. She got 2 awards, the Royal Red Cross from Queen Elizabeth and the Order of Merit from King Edward VII. And this one was the first time that a woman got this reward. So as a conclusion, I would like to say that the Lady of the Lamp, she defied the time that she was living. She didn't care what her family thought about her, what society would think about her. Through her work, she could change everything. Even nowadays, we do what she changed at that time. She said, "I attribute my success to this. I never gave or took any excuse." Thank you.